Hey everyone, welcome back. Yes, I do have flowers on my face. It was my niece's 4th birthday party today. We had a troll party, so we had a clown, we had Poppy, we had magic, and I got me some face paint with glitter because that's how this girl rolls. Anyway, I also had purple hair. But my best friend in California texted me to let me know that I look like a stripper named Violet about to take somebody back to the champagne room. And I figured it's probably not a look I should be rocking for these videos, despite the reading material. Alright, we are going to be getting through chapters 8 and 9 for Smoldering Hunger. I'm going to summarize chapter 8 for you guys because there's nothing that really happens in chapter 8. And then we're going to dive into chapter 9. So really quickly, in chapter 8, remember a few chapters back we had Riss and Ree, this chick that's in a coma right now. So it turns out she's deliberately keeping herself in that coma because she has to make some decisions and she feels this darkness inside of her and she doesn't want to face Riss, who is her former lover that broke her heart because communication blows between people. And yeah, that's that. Sophie wakes up from a night of sex and drains the tub and realizes she may never see Darius again. I kid you not. And then we turn to Ulrich, who decides that he's going to turn Sophie into a spy. That's the extent of chapter 8. Now, moving on to chapter 9. Sophie was thankful for the craziness of work to take her mind off Darius. She'd gotten there at 6 in the morning, and the next time she looked up, it was 4 in the afternoon. She leaned against the nurse's counter and jotted something in a file. It wasn't until Claire took it from her that Sophie looked at her friend and smiled. "You saw him last night," Claire said in a whispery voice, her eyes wide. Sophie tried to deny it, then gave up and shrugged. Claire looked at the ceiling. "Thank you, God. Now, if you don't mind, send one my way. Bob is getting tired." I really like Claire, you guys. "Who's Bob? You've not told me about Bob," Sophie said, a little hurt. "I have too." The better way of saying that would have been, "Yes, I have," Claire said, and gave her a little shove in the arm. "Bob is battery-operated boyfriend, B-O-B. Sophie laughed because only Claire would come up with such a name for her vibrator. Is naming your vibrator a thing? 'Cause I've never done that. Then Claire batted her eyes and did her best southern accent to mimic her favorite character, Kylie, from the movie Serenity. Are you really referencing Serenity in this book right now? Because that's not okay. And how are you going to reference Serenity without saying that Firefly should not have been canceled? Come on. Those things go hand in hand. And I'm going to try to say the next line with my southern accent. I'm going to fail terribly. Let me read the line again. Then Claire batted her eyes and did her best southern accent to mimic her favorite character, Kaylee, from the movie Serenity, as she said, Going on a year now, I ain't got nothing twixt my nethers, weren't running on batteries." That was terrible. That was terrible. Please don't tell me it was terrible, okay? I know it's terrible. Sophie had to grab her sides. She was laughing so hard. Leave it to Claire to make her smile. "What?" Claire said with an innocent expression, keeping her southern drawl. "Was something I said funny?" Don't hate me. Sophie held up a hand when Claire started to continue with more lines from the movie. "No more, please." "It's all the coffee," Claire said as she eyed the cup Sophie set down a moment ago. "Water, Soph, water." "Yes, but water doesn't have the caffeine I need to keep going." "With Mr. Do-It-Right in your bed, I don't think you're going to need much caffeine." "That's exactly what you need caffeine. You get tired after sex." It was a reminder that Darius had come into her life out of the shadows, and he disappeared back into them now. Sophie tried to keep the smile in place, but Claire knew her too well. "What is it, honey?" she asked. Sophie waved her away. "Nothing. It was just sex. Nothing more. He's gone now. He won't be coming back." What a wanker. At least he wasn't perfect. Only Claire would immediately come to her side and find something wrong with Mr. Do-It-Right, as she'd called him. Sophie smiled wryly. He was kind of perfect. "Everyone has flaws." "Did he snore?" "I have no idea." "I bet he snored," Claire said with a firm nod. "Was his thingy bent?" "Was his thingy bent?" "It curved to the side, didn't it?" Sophie shook her head. Was he? Claire trailed off and wiggled her little finger. Mr. Do-It-Right? Sophie asked with a flat look. He certainly wasn't small. Claire rolled her eyes. Hey, some small guys can do it right. It just feels better when the man is well hung. So maybe he couldn't kiss. That's it. He was a bad kisser. I'm not gonna get into it. Claire threw out her hands and let them slap her thighs as they fell. I give up. Looks like he was perfect except he left. That definitely makes him a wanker. It's better that he's gone. It's absolutely not better if you think that. If you're glad, then that means he struck a chord in you, Soph. And I'm sorry, but after 7 years, you need several chords struck, repeatedly and often. I agree. Sophie checked her watch and winked at Claire. Thanks for the pep talk. Gotta run. We're not done here, Claire called as Sophie walked away. Sophie merely lifted her hand and waved, not bothering to look behind her. It was a conversation she and Claire had been having for years. She met Claire 6 months after moving to Edinburgh, and they had bonded during one incredibly long shift. During a girls' night out a year later, Sophie had drank too much and ended up telling Claire the entire awful story. Claire was the only person in Edinburgh who knew the sordid details. No matter what Claire said, Sophie was happy with her life. She had everything she wanted. Her career was on track, she loved her job, and she had a close friend. It was all she needed. Again, the justifications keep piling up. Except, with Darius, she'd begun to long for so much more. The dream of a husband and a happy life began to sprout again. It was a dangerous thing, hope. Especially to someone like her and all she'd endured. The humiliation, the shame. Sophie turned the corner and ran into a man. She bounced back, but his hands grabbed her by the arms to steady her. I apologize, she said, and looked up into golden eyes. He smiled, though it didn't quite reach his unique eyes. Jesus. What is up with this woman and eyes? If she were a serial killer, she would collect people's eyeballs, pickle them, and keep them in her basement. She recognized... Oh, sorry. He smiled, though it didn't quite reach his unique eyes. It's my fault. I wasn't looking where I was going. She recognized him from the day before. It's fine. These halls are very busy. I have a confession, he said as she started to walk around him. Intrigued, she asked, Oh? Oh? I put myself in your path. I've been trying to get your attention all day. Sophie looked at the hand-sewn suit he wore and shook her head. He practically oozed money and old-world class. A man like you can have any woman he wants. What do you mean, a man like me? Handsome, rich, and charming? But you do not find these What? Oh. But you don't find these redeeming qualities? I hate this woman, he asked, watching her intently with a half-smile in place. Sophie shrugged. Handsome is always a boon. Money comes and goes easily, so that shouldn't make a difference. But it makes life easier. That's true, she conceded. As for the charm, I've learned that men use it to get what they want, but it's rarely genuine. The fake smile dropped as he looked at her differently, as if he were seeing her for the first time. You're not wrong, lass. However, men aren't the only ones who use something to get what they want. But I'm not one of those women who use their bodies to get something. I've got a brain, which is why I'm interested. He held out a hand. I'm Ulrich Dunn. That was a really stupid exchange. Sophie hesitated for a moment before she accepted his hand and shook it. Sophie Martin. Doctor, he corrected with a grin. She found herself returning his smile. Just what are you after, Mr. Munn? Ulrich, please, he said as he released her hand. I've learned a lot about you, Dr. Martin. I know that you often help those less fortunate with your house calls. Sophie immediately retrieved her hand and took a step back. It's not against any regulations. Ulrich held up his hands and bowed his head. I was in no way saying it was. I was merely pointing out that it's your side work, as it were, that has drawn me. Why? Sophie was suddenly leery of him. You think of others. It's a trait I admire. She held the chart against her chest and wrapped her arms around it. There was something about Ulrich that didn't quite meet up. His words were right, but his eyes lacked humanity. Didn't she notice that immediately? Like, it took a few minutes into the conversation for her to get this? Darius's word of caution the night before came back to her. So you've been following me. Words of your deeds reached me. I checked you out, of course. Of course, Sophie replied tightly. She met his gold eyes and said, Mr. Dunn, I enjoy what I do. My hours are filled here at the hospital and helping others. I don't have any spare time for whatever it is you want from me. I also appreciate it if you quit following me. You're going to leave without even hearing my proposal? She paused as she was about to walk away from him. I am. You don't trust me. What? Why would she trust you? Just because you're handsome doesn't mean people are going to automatically trust you. In fact, you tend not to trust beautiful people. Sorry, just the way it works. He replied with a hint of surprise in his deep voice. As a general rule, I don't trust anyone. Steve wasn't sure why she told him that since it wasn't true anymore, at least not when it came to Darius. Whether she wanted to or not, she found she trusted him. Ulrich put his hands in his pants pocket and gave a slight nod of his head. There was something in his golden gaze. It had been there for a second, so fleeting it was gone before she could even realize it. But there was no doubt about it. It was a bit of sadness and a heavy dose of anger. He'd been hurt deeply. Sophie didn't want to feel a connection to him. Ulrich wasn't a man to be trusted, ever. He was too controlled and entirely too handsome. Men like him were a volcano waiting to erupt, and when they did, they took out everyone around them. Unlike Darius, who was more like water, soft at times, yet unyielding and dangerous. Why then did she want to trust him? I don't know. God. You know why? Because you're his soulmate, okay? I hate to break it to you, but you're his goddamn soulmate. You are predestined to be together because God decided that the two of you should be with each other. There you go. She tried to keep walking, but something held her back. Sophie turned her head to Ulrich. He tilted his slightly, a question in his eyes. What is it? He asked. By his confused look, he had no idea of what he'd revealed. Most people wouldn't have seen it, but Sophie knew all too well how deep the wounds of betrayal were. Those who had those same wounds could see them in others, no matter how well hidden they might be. I'm going for coffee. You're free to walk with me, she told him. His cocky grin was back in place. While doing my best in that short time to convince you of my proposal? Yep. Sophie started walking, just as she expected. Ulrich was beside her. He held the door for her, as a perfect gentleman would. Yet there was a precarious current around him. It was different than what she felt with Darius. Darius was electrifying, a temptation. Being near him was heart-pounding and hazardous to her health, but exhilarating all at the same time. Why is she comparing these two men? With Ulrich, she got the feeling that being near him almost certainly meant death. It put her on edge, making her tense and uneasy. With coffee in hand, they sat at an empty table. Sophie set the chart on her lap and filled her coffee with loads of cream. Why did you invite me? Ulrich asked. Sophie focused on fixing her coffee. I'm not sure. You make me uncomfortable, and you know I don't trust you. Exactly. You should be far away from me, and yet here you sit. She lifted one shoulder in a shrug as she sipped her coffee. I told you I'd listen to what you have to say. Once I decline it, you can leave. I'm more interested in why you agreed to hear me. Oh my God, get to the point. Sitting back and placing her coffee on the table, Sophie regarded him. He changed tactics. No longer was he the suave businessman who was trying to sell some proposal and wanting her involvement. The man before her now was focused on one thing, the reason she didn't walk away. Sophie could lie and make something up, but it would do neither of them any good. Ulrich was the kind of man who could spot a falsehood 100 miles away. As silly as it sounds, it's because I saw your pain, she admitted. All emotions were swept from his face in a millisecond. Excuse me? Someone betrayed you. She slowly turned her cup with her fingers. I'm guessing by your reaction that a few people were able to pick that up. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm guessing by your reaction that only a few people are able to pick that up. Come on, add the word only in there. Otherwise the sentence makes no sense. You could say that. His words were clipped cold. Sophie released a slow breath. I can usually spot someone who's been betrayed deeply. You hid yours very well. I almost didn't see it. Is that a skill you learn when you've been betrayed? Because let me tell you, I don't think it works like that. But you did. He tapped the rim of his coffee cup with his index finger. You notice what you yourself hide. It's not something I share, but yes, I too was betrayed. His golden eyes held hers, refusing to allow her to look away as he gazed deep inside her. Sophie shifted uncomfortably in her seat. Why would you tell someone your weakness? Please explain this to me. Why would you tell someone that you've been betrayed? Because now you've given them fodder to hurt you. What? His golden eyes held hers, refusing to allow her to look away as he gazed deeply inside her. Sophie shifted uncomfortably in her seat. Finally, she was able to lower her gaze. She found herself staring at the tie knotted at his neck. Let me take you to dinner. Sophie lifted her gaze to him to find him running a hand through his long black hair. Her first thought was of Darius. Thank you, but I must decline. After a few minutes in silence, Ulrich pushed his chair back and stood. That is your right, Sophie. With a nod, Ulrich walked away, leaving Sophie more confused about his arrival than ever before. Done with chapter 9. can't. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great evening and or day or whenever you end up watching this. And I will see you next time. Bye.